Of course, who can follow Dr. Raja and his eloquent speech? I find myself at a complete loss for words. Certainly I can't speak in Tamil, even though I am from here. I can't speak in Tamil anywhere remotely close to what he did. So you have to, those of you from the Tamil media have to excuse me for that. But I also want to acknowledge my buddies and friends from the investor community that are also here. Shivaraja, who will speak after me, and Chandu and Reggie, all dear friends. And all of us are together in acknowledging and celebrating that this is actually a wonderful development that Crescent has received the approval to launch this MBA program in Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Venture Development. So let me just share a few thoughts. Nisha introduced me and said I've been involved with Crescent. Actually, I've been involved with the broader ecosystem here as well. So even before Crescent, I've been very closely involved for almost the last 10 years with IIT-Madras's incubation cell. So I have seen, if you will, and before that I used to be in the US, in Silicon Valley. I was a professor at the University of California at Berkeley. So I have seen firsthand what it takes to develop entrepreneurs, you know, and what are some of the things that work and what are some of the things that don't work. In fact, also I sometimes say sheepishly, I was part of the first programmatic effort in India to do a degree on entrepreneurship. This was the IIT Madras launched a program MS program in entrepreneurship, which ironically is still around, in 1983. And I was a student of that very first batch after graduating, though I left it in 2 months saying that they don't know what they're talking about. I still think that's a problem that faces many of these programs to educate entrepreneurs. But what I'm going to tell you is that I think that right now the time is right. Okay, and that I think this is absolutely needed. So why am I saying that? You know, Curated Forum is the world's largest angel investor network. We have chapters around all 4 continents, 55 chapters. We also have 4 chapters here in India. And the Chennai chapter that I head has done about 90 plus investments in about 75 startups in the last 6 years. I have also personally mentored about 200 plus startups coming out of IIT and through the companies that we have funded. So I have a broad base of entrepreneurs that I have worked with, and I'm talking about whatever I'm going to share with you is based on that experience of having worked for the last 10 plus years with entrepreneurs here and a little bit with entrepreneurs in the US before that. What is very clear, again, this may be a rule of thumb.
I must tell you, I'm an ex-journalist, so I have been on the other side. So I'll start off with very simple declaration. Traditional media is dying. How many of you here agree? All of you agree. However, I'll also say that journalists are also a dying breed. Traditional journalists. But I'll also say in the same breath, having run a knowledge services company, from a journalist I became an entrepreneur, and I exited 10 years ago. So I became a successful entrepreneur. I'll also say the same thing, that there is an opportunity. Content creation is thriving. You see the number of people on Clubhouse, you see the number of people on Twitter Spaces, you see the number of podcasts, you see the number of newsletters, paid newsletters. You see the companies that we are investing in, the Chennai Angels, of which I am a member and so is Reggie, has invested in companies like Nojoto, which are content creation platforms and marketplaces. My request to you is, you should consider doing this program, the MBA IEV, because it will transform you from being a journalist who's dependent on traditional media to an independent entrepreneur who's a content creator or a content platform creator or a content business person. And believe me, I have invested in such content companies. I can tell you that there is no longer a business model for traditional media in India or overseas, but there is a model for content creation, and it is very good for you to consider doing a program like IEV, MBA IEV. Now why am I going to talk about this? Because one of the biggest problems today that we have is employment. And employment in the media, if you look at it during the pandemic, coronavirus, I have a lot of my good friends from the media who lost their jobs. I know many people who were given what they call furlough. or many people who had to take 50% salary. All of you are here. I don't want to tell the names of the media houses which sacked people. I don't want to tell you the names of people who got kicked out. But even a particular
speakers is hardly anything left on the table. So I'm going to push a lot of sections out of my speech. But I want to harp on some critical aspects which I think is important. And I'm going to keep my speech as short as possible. Good afternoon, everybody. Steve Jobs said, stay hungry, stay foolish. But I'm going to add another layer to it. For all those young students who want to grow, to innovate, do something with their lives, is also to stay curious. Now, this is the key differentiating aspect we intend to inculcate in the current offering of the MBA IEV. The purpose of MBA's programs offered by several institutions is to convert novices into employable, polished students, but in reality, less than a tenth of them are employable. Now, this is something which is based on a study by Economic Times. Somewhere between the conversion of novices to employability, there is a leakage. And this leakage is driven by rote learning, misplaced objectives, limited vision, and lack of ear to the ground of reality. In the current age, millions today are challenging monoliths. It is important that our MBA factories do not produce just students with academic qualification and be industry ready. Instead, we want our students to be agile when it comes to businesses and straight-jacketed when it comes to ethics. The startup world we see today are still at an infancy stage. There's a long runway we see given the huge global opportunity. Our ability to continuously innovate to meet known consumer demand and also the ability to capture the blind spots in the consumer demand is a critical aspect and a huge enabler to make lasting impact. And here at BSACIST, we are ready to help students emerge successfully to capture maximum leverage from this opportunity. You have read in this morning's Economic Times, Zephyr states that startup seed funding today in India is one startup is funded every day. We hope this trend continues. Our globalized digital economy and disruptive new technology and innovations are creating virtually unlimited opportunities.
அப்படின்னு பார்க்குறாங்க. ஸோ இந்த அகாடமிஸும் இந்த ப்ராக்டிக்கல் ஆஸ்பெக்ட்ஸும் எந்த இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷனில் எஃபெக்டிவாக இருக்கோ அந்த மாதிரி இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷன்ஸை தேர்ந்தெடுத்து கவர்மெண்ட் வந்து இந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு விஷயத்தை கொடுக்கறது நான் வந்து இந்தியாவில் இப்போது அண்மை காலமாக பார்க்குற ஒரு நல்ல விஷயம். ஸோ அந்த வகையில் இது ஒரு கான்டெக்ஸ்டில் பார்க்கணும். அப்போது இது மாறிக்கிட்டு வருது. இந்த மாற்றத்துக்கு உண்டான ஒரு கல்வி அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து ரொம்ப முக்கியமான விஷயம். இது வந்து ஒன் ஆஃப் தி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் இட்ஸ் கைண்ட். இந்த 21 யூனிவர்சிட்டிஸ் வந்து ஆல் ஓவர் இந்தியாவில் கொடுத்துருக்கிறது வந்து ஒரு முதல் தடவையாக இந்தியாவில் இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு மாற்றம் வருது. அது தமிழ்நாட்டில் வந்து ஒரு 6 இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷன் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க அப்படிங்கிறது ஒரு மிகப்பெரிய மாற்றம். அதனால இது அனதர் கோர்ஸ்ன்னு நம்ம எடுத்துக்க கூடாது. இது வந்து ஒரு ரெவல்யூஷனரி கோர்ஸ்ன்னு நான் நினைக்கிறேன். அதை சரியான வகையில் பேக்கேஜ் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. ஒன்று. ரெண்டாவது வந்து அண்மை காலத்தில் ஒரு மாதத்துக்கு முன்னாடி நம்மளுடைய முதல்வர் வந்து $1 trillion எக்கானமி அப்படின்னு ஒரு விஷன் கொடுத்தார். 2030 வந்து தமிழ்நாடு வந்து $1 trillion எக்கானமியாக ஜிடிபி மாறணும் அப்படின்னு. இது வந்து வெறும் கார்பரேட் நிறுவனங்கள் ஒரு 5000 கோடி 10,000 கோடி இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்டில் எல்லா இடத்துலையும் நீங்கள் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணி ஒரு 5000 ஜாப்ஸ் 10,000 ஜாப்ஸில் கூட ஒரு குளோபல் இன்வெஸ்டார் மீட் நடந்தது. ஒரு க்ளோஸ் டு ஒரு ஹியூஜ் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்ஸ் கமிட் பண்ணாங்க. இத்தனை 1000 வேலை வாய்ப்புகள் உருவாக்கணும்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. பட் இதை மட்டும் வச்சு வந்து ஒரு $1 trillion எக்கானமி வந்து பண்ண முடியாது. அது வாய்ப்பே கிடையாது. அப்போது அது நடக்கிறதுக்கு வந்து இந்த மாதிரியான ஸ்மால் ஸ்கேல் இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ், மைக்ரோ, ஸ்மால் மீடியம், அதை தாண்டி வந்து இந்த ஸ்டார்ட் அப் அப்படிங்கிற இந்த யூனிகார்ன்ஸ் உருவாகணும், வேல்யூவேஷன் பேஸ் கம்பெனிஸ் உருவாகணும். ஏன்னா இதுதான் அடுத்த கட்டம், இந்த நாலேஜ் எக்கானமியில் முக்கியமான கட்டம். அது உருவாக்குறதுக்கு உண்டான ஈகோ சிஸ்டம்ங்கிறது ரொம்ப முக்கியம். ஒரு ஈகோ சிஸ்டம்னா என்ன? இப்போ நம்ம சொல்கிறோம் ஒரு மாற்றம் நடக்குது, தொழில்நுட்பமும் ஐடியாஸும் கலந்து ஒரு முயற்சியை உருவாக்கும் போது அங்கே வந்து புதிய வியாபார வாய்ப்புகள், வணிக வாய்ப்புகள் வருதுன்னு சொல்கிறோம். இது வளர்வதற்கு ஒரு ஈகோ சிஸ்டம் வேணும். அப்போ இந்த ஈகோ சிஸ்டம்ங்கிறது ஒரு சூழல். அந்த சூழலில் வந்து பல ஸ்டேக் ஹோல்டர்ஸ் இருப்பாங்க. ஸ்டேக் ஹோல்டர்ஸ் அப்படின்னா பங்காளர்கள் அப்படி உங்களுக்கு தெரியும். அதில் ஒன்று வந்து ஒரு முக்கியமானது இண்டஸ்ட்ரி, இன்னொன்று கவர்மெண்ட், இன்னொன்று அகாடமிக் இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷன்ஸ், இன்னொன்று மீடியா. ஸோ இது எல்லாம் சேரும்போது தான் பப்ளிக்கு வந்து இந்த விஷயத்தை எடுத்து செய்ய முடியும். இதையும் தாண்டி அட்வைசர்ஸ் இருப்பாங்க, R&D சென்டர்ஸ் இருக்கும். நிறைய இந்த மாதிரி வந்து ஒரு மாற்றத்தை பொதுமக்களுக்கு எடுத்துட்டு போறதுக்கு பல பேர் அதுக்குள்ள உள்வாங்கி அவங்கள்ல இருந்து பல விஷயத்தை வெளிப்படுத்துறதுக்கு வந்து அந்த ஈகோ சிஸ்டம் ஒழுங்கா ஒர்க் பண்ணணும். அந்த ஈகோ சிஸ்டத்தை உருவாக்குறதுக்கு இந்த மாதிரி ஸ்ட்ரக்சர்ட் கோர்சஸ் வந்து ரொம்ப ரொம்ப முக்கியம். அதனால இது வந்து ஒரு சாதாரண அனதர் கோர்ஸ்னு நான் பார்க்கல. அவங்க பர்வேஸ் சார் வந்து ஸ்ரீனிவாசன் சார் 2 பேரும் இது வந்து ஒரு சில மாதங்களுக்கு முன்னாடி
launching program of this unique MBA IEV as explained by our Parvez Alam. You know that this is a new program offered in a limited institution in India, and our institute is selected based on our strength. Our Crescent School of Business is doing wonderful job for the past many years offering MBA program, and this CIIC, even though it is new, it has won many accolades to its credit. Of course, it has won a 5-star rating from Ministry of Education, Government of India, and in the top 25 ranking in the ARIA ranking. Based on that only we are able to get this program. And this is a unique opportunity for the entrepreneurs, particularly the potential entrepreneurs and innovators to start establishing their enterprise, and of course they can build their empire. As told, they can also become a unicorn company in short period of time. Why I am saying that is this ecosystem is available in our campus. Our campus is A+ rated by NAC, and it's a very clean and green campus. It is essential for healthy living. That's more important. We provide that kind of ambience in our campus. And it is also a multidisciplinary campus. So it started as an engineering college, and later it became deemed to be university, and we offer program in arts and sciences, law, pharmacy, architecture, and of course the management. And so it gives a multidisciplinary exposure for the students, particularly for the students of MBA IEV. So we promote the T-shaped learning. So in the letter T, the vertical line represents the domain knowledge, the core knowledge, by which only I can come out with innovative and creative ideas. And the horizontal line represents the collaborative knowledge and the skills. So innovative idea is not sufficient actually to make it a business. So the collaborative knowledge and skill is also essential. So we can come into contact with the law department is also available. So he is also exposed to the latest technology. Any business without the latest technology, particularly the business analytics, the data structure, the AI. So without that, nobody can run the business. So the whole ambient, the ecosystem is provided. And not only that, with the CIIC is functioning in a full swing. Our students, particularly I am talking about the MBA IEV students, can network with his peers. So when he joins, people around him also be having the same fire, desire, and intention to become a successful entrepreneur. So he can bridge the knowledge gap when he interact with those peer group. And we also have a mentorship facility. Whenever a business or the entrepreneur gets stuck, our mentors will handhold and lift them up. So that kind of arrangement is also available. And we also provide access to the investment. So money is very important. So that access to investors also provided, and we have actually the speakers, the guests of honors. They will explain you about how you can get the investment, not only from the government side and from the private side also.